The flow state. Why artists lose track of time. There is a moment many artists recognize, even if they cannot easily describe it. Time seems to soften. The outside world fades into the background. Thoughts become quieter, and attention becomes steady, almost effortless. Hours pass, yet the mind feels as if only minutes have gone by. This experience is known as flow state. Flow is a psychological condition where a person becomes fully absorbed in an activity that is both meaningful and engaging. In this state, action and awareness merge. The artist is no longer thinking about creating, the artist is simply creating. From a neuroscience perspective, flow represents a unique shift in brain activity. Regions involved in self-criticism and inner narration become less active, while areas responsible for attention, sensory processing, and motor coordination become more synchronized. The mind moves from analysis into direct experience. This reduction in self-referential thinking is one of the reasons time perception changes. When the brain is no longer constantly monitoring the self-dash, how am I doing? What should I do next? Is this good enough? It loses the internal pressure that normally structures time awareness. Instead, attention becomes fully anchored in the present task. In artistic practice, flow often emerges when there is a balance between skill and challenge. If a task is too easy, the mind becomes bored and distracted. If it is too difficult, anxiety takes over. But when the challenge matches the artist's ability, just slightly stretching at attention locks in naturally. Painting, drawing, sculpting, and other creative processes are especially effective at producing this balance. Each brushstroke requires small decisions. Each adjustment in color or form creates feedback. The work evolves continuously, keeping the mind engaged without overwhelming it. As flow deepens, the sense of effort begins to dissolve. Actions feel smoother, more intuitive. The hand seems to know what to do without excessive deliberation. This is not randomness, it is the result of practiced neural pathways operating efficiently. During this state, the brain's reward system also plays a role. Dopamine activity increases, not in sharp spikes like distraction-based stimulation, but in a steady, supportive flow that reinforces focus and motivation. This creates a feeling of calm satisfaction rather than agitation. One of the most profound aspects of flow is the temporary quieting of the internal critic. The voice that usually evaluates, judges, and compares becomes less dominant. This allows creativity to unfold more freely, without interruption from self-doubt. In this space, mistakes lose their emotional weight. They become part of the process rather than interruptions to it. This shift encourages experimentation, exploration, and deeper engagement with the work. Flow is also deeply connected to emotional regulation. When the mind is fully absorbed, it is less likely to be caught in cycles of worry or rumination. The present moment becomes large enough to hold attention completely. This is why many artists describe flow not just as productive, but as peaceful. It is a rare state where focus and ease coexist. Importantly, flow is not reserved for professionals or highly skilled individuals. It can appear in anyone who engages in a task with presence and enough continuity. Even simple creative acts, mixing colors, sketching shapes, layering textures, can open the door. The more frequently a person enters flow, the more the brain learns to access it. Over time, it becomes easier to shift into the state, even in daily activities beyond art. Flow does not remove life's challenges, but it changes the relationship to them. Problems feel more solvable. Attention feels more stable. Time feels less fragmented. And in that space where self-consciousness fades and action becomes natural, the artist discovers something quietly powerful. Not escape from reality, but deep entry into it. And in that entry, time disappears so presence can remain.